Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beasty Cutie casted game. And he's going to be spawning in here on the left-hand side, playing as the Mongols. He's going to be looking to try out some of the brand new things that the Mongols have going for them this season. The main one being the Keshik. But Mongols, they've received some other changes as well. For instance, their Khan has a brand new scouting falcon. So basically, you can select where you want this falcon to go in a little radius around your Khan now, which means it's a little bit easier to be able to scout with this unit. So we'll have to see if Beasty makes a use of that. We'll keep an eye on his perspective. But his opponent today spawning in on the right-hand side of the map in the color pink. We've got Louis MT. These two players have been playing a lot against each other recently. Louis's been helping out Beasty when it comes to practice for the Elite Classic, which Beasty came third place in. So really well done to him for coming third in that tournament. So both of these players are very, very strong here. Louis, you know, he's taken quite a few games off Beasty. So, you know, Beasty, extremely good player, loses games very rarely. But if there's a player to do it, Louis is definitely going to be one of them. And he's playing as the Delhi here. And I gotta say, I think Delhi are the brand new S-tier civilization this patch. And it's all because of that Abbasid Raider. I think it's just a crazy unit. I really do think it is an absolutely crazy unit. And especially on a map like Dry Arabia, I think it's really, really good just because of the sacred site spawns. So I've actually played quite a few games up against the Delhi. And I think the best maps for them are Marshlands, Highview, Lipany, sort of these open maps where the sacred sites spawn towards the middle, or you've got one in the base like you do Highview and Marshlands. So, you know, Louis got a decent spawn here. We're going to have to see what Beasty looks to do about this. Obviously, he has the brand new Keshik, but we'll have to see if he makes use of it, because something to keep in mind here is the Keshik is a heavily armored unit. And the Abbasid Raider, the brand new horseman for Louis, deals bonus damage versus heavily armored units. And this is why I think Delhi is going to be so good. Why it is so good. It's because it can deal with H2 Knights. It can deal with Lancers. It can deal with Keshiks. It can deal with early men-at-arms. It can deal with everything like that in the feudal age, which makes it kind of ridiculous because this civilization used to find it kind of hard up against these sort of civs which had lots of knights out, lots of men-at-arms, because they wouldn't really have much going for them. They just have to get out, you know, a regular horseman, which, you know, it didn't do the best. Let's say that much. But now that they've got this Abbasid Raider going for them, this civilization, I think, is just going to be unstoppable. And Louis actually goes up here with the Dome of the Faith, so not looking to go towards any sort of Tower of Victory here today, which is a little bit different from what we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing this Tower of Victory coming out for that plus 15% attack speed on archers and spears. But I guess with the meta sort of shifting towards this new cavalry unit, this landmark's going to become a little bit more viable, just because the Tower of Victory doesn't affect cavalry. So why would you go up with a landmark that doesn't affect your cavalry if you could go up with this, for instance? And, you know, this is a great landmark, right? You get the discount on scholars, and, you know, it's a great age up, right? Because you're not having to pay as much gold. But have a look at this. Beasty, he opened up with an early stable here, coming through with a couple horsemen, raiding the villagers there on the gold, and he's going to be going for an outpost here. Louis, he's going to get the age up through. Does he just pull vills here? Does he even spot this out? He does know about this. I feel like you just pull the vills on this, right? There's only 2 horsemen out for Beasty at the time being. He's got a couple more on the way, so you're really limited on time, and now we see Louis going to be moving forward here. Let's see what his micro is like. Needs to pull back these low HP villagers. We see Scholars also getting pulled. He's only got the one out for the time being. Second one in the queue. He's going to look to heal this one up. That one. Oh, he manages to save it. Louis, yet to lose a villager. He's going to be able to get this outpost down, it seems. Villager needs to be careful. That outpost getting repaired up for the time being. And now we see a villager does actually go down, but the outpost gets down with it. Louis, able to keep alive the majority of his villagers here, needs to be super careful. Archery range also does get constructed here. Interesting choice when you're facing up against early horsemen. I guess it does work because you're trying to deny away this villager, right? You want that range. But I think spears could have worked just as well here because you would have been denying away the horsemen. And they've got great siege to siege down any more outposts Beasty looks to construct. So a little bit of an interesting choice there from Louis. This is a great choice, right, if you're up against spears coming from Beasty. But archers, a little bit of an interesting one. But now Beasty looking to try to take down that scout. He's got an age up coming behind this. Deer stones is going to be the way for him. So no sort of silver tree here. We do sometimes see the silver tree coming out from players when it comes to tower rushing. But obviously with trade being nerfed for the Mongols, not only does it now cost more gold for them, but also the trade trick has been fixed. It's a lot harder to go for that classic sort of fast castle build with the trade trick. So it makes sense that Beasty is wanting to go for a little bit more of a standard play nowadays with the deer stones. We'll have to see what he looks to move into next because Louis finally is reacting with that barracks. He's going to be able to get out some spears and should be able to deny away these horsemen. But that outpost does get up on the back line here for Beasty. Looks like he's just going to be running back now with his villager. So Beasty hasn't really achieved too much here with the outpost. We see it's got arrows that's coming through. So this might be a little bit of a pain later on. It might just buy Beasty a little bit of time, right? For, you know, because Louis, he has to deal with this outpost. Not necessarily now, but he wants to deal with it now, right? You don't want to leave this behind your base with arrow slits and then, you know, and whatever. So I think he's looking to deal with this probably around now. We see he's got out a couple spears. No more archers out from him yet. So yeah, Sanctity about to come through. We're about 25 seconds away. Looks like Louis also moving out for the stone. So are we going to be seeing 2 TC Delhi here? We do see double blacksmith coming through. This is the build that I've been seeing a lot where, well, in saying that, we haven't actually seen the Guzzy Raiders coming out yet. But double blacksmith comes down. You know, try and grab all of the blacksmith upgrades as fast as you can. You just play it out in H2. You just go mass Guzzy Raiders, mass spears, mass archers. You go for all 3 units, and you just try and mess up your opponent. The Beasty over here, we see he's doing a pretty good job. He has the upgrade through on his horseman. And behind this, what's he looking to go into? It's going to be Keshik's. Have a look at this. So making use of this stable still. So really, really smart there, actually, going with the early horseman. I think that was a really, really smart decision. Because then you're able to utilize this stable still with the Keshiks. And you actually bought a lot of value here with those horsemen. Because you did get a villager kill. Now, one villager kill, it's not huge, right? But it's something. And you're also able to get up this outpost on the backline. So I think Beasty, what he's doing right here with this early stable is really, really smart. And now he's starting to get out a decent mass of Keshiks as well as some archers. I think he could look to do some good damage here onto Louis. As we see, he's still only on the 2 production buildings. I'm not sure what Louis' plan is right here. You know, he's prioritizing a second TC, it seems. But I think he's going to find it hard to get it down. We see here Beasty, with his little cavalry mass, is going to be able to deny away any sort of TC on this deer pack. He's got the outpost here. This one is going to be tricky. He's got the army here. And Beasty also with the new Falcon ability. We'll have to see if he looks to use it here. If he uses this, you know, he's going to have a lot of map vision. So we'll actually see if he looks to use it. I want to see him use it because this is pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy ability. Now we see Louis going to be looking to siege down this outpost. This indicates to Beasty that he wants to place the second TC here. Let's take a look. There we see. He actually sees the villagers moving out. That second TC is coming down. Beasty isn't reacting to it though. Louis has got out 4 spears over here. I feel like if you're Beasty, you could probably dive this. I mean, 2 scholars are out here as well. You're able to get the siege off onto this mining camp, get that little bit of bounty. We see that the little Khan, the little Falcon arrow does come down. He's able to push this closer towards the base here. But now Beasty going to be running towards that TC. The TC does get up in time. Louis going to be able to start to recover when it comes to that villager count. Khan needs to be careful here. Is going to be going down. But it looks like Beasty may be able to get a villager in return for it. Maybe not. We see lifesteal is a thing for these Keshiks, so they're taking a little bit of TC fire. But if you can look to siege a little bit, maybe you can heal this back up. And yes, by the way, Keshiks do heal up when they siege buildings, which I think is a little bit crazy, because I feel like lifesteal should be taking the life from something living. Maybe that's just me, but it doesn't really make any sense that Lancers can deal damage to buildings and get health. I don't know. It seems a little bit odd. But I guess for balance reason it works, right? Right? I guess. Maybe not. Maybe that's a little bit overpowered. But we'll have to wait and see, because, you know, we're still very early here on the season. We don't know exactly what's powerful, what's not. But so far from the looks of things, Keshiks are pretty good, as well as Guzzy Raiders, which surprisingly we're not seeing here out of Louis. Despite this being a heavily armored unit, we don't have any of the anti-heavy units yet. I mean, I guess we got spears here. They also do the work onto the Keshiks, but Guzzy Raiders would be perfect here for Louis, right? Not only do they counter the Keshiks, but they also counter the archers. You know, it's like a horseman on steroids. They kill everything here. Beasty literally has nothing to deal with it. And he's not even adding in any sort of cavalry behind this. Or, sorry, spears behind this. He is grabbing some blacksmith upgrades as we see that siege engineering is coming through. Beasty now looking to put the pressure on with a couple of rams, it seems. Beasty looking to go for a little bit of a prod here or there, it seems. I guess he's kind of just waiting for that siege engineering. Doesn't really want to dive behind here. You got to be really careful diving this sort of area. You got 2 TC fire on you. Beasty's siege engineering does come through. No sort of ram through from him yet. The Khan does arrive back. And this is what you really want on the front line here. You need that Khan in the battle here with you. And it looks like neither player looking towards Castle Age quite yet. Louis really started to pump out some units. So he understands what's going on here. We see Beasty, he's constructing that ram. Does Louis know about it? He doesn't know about it. Okay, so may catch him a little bit off guard, but I think he knows what's sort of on the way here. We see he's got a huge amount of army. Beasty needs to be careful here. We see quite a few low HP Keshiks. So what I'd love to see Beasty do right now is just start to siege down this blacksmith a little bit. We'll have to see if he looks to do it, because you could get a lot of health back on these Keshiks by just sieging this blacksmith a little bit with your cavalry. I think that's what we're going to be seeing a lot. You need to be really careful when playing up against the Mongols when they've got a large Keshik mass. Just don't build production too far away from your town center. It's kind of tricky, right? But I think we're going to be seeing it a lot more. But now, Louis looking to push forwards here. No Tower of Victory through. So doesn't have the extra attack speed here. Beasty, he gets through his attack speed arrow though. Scholars getting pulled here for Louis. Oh my goodness, he's got all 5 in here. 5 out of the 8 out on the battlefield. We see they're going to be getting some nice heals off. Beasty looking to commit to the fight here, it seems. Focusing down all of those spears first. We see battering rams also taking out some of the production here. Able to get that bounty in. Beasty, he's taking out a large amount of spears to the point where now Beasty can just charge in with the Keshiks. We see that life steal coming through once again. Lots of production getting taken out. More reinforcements coming through for Beasty here. He's getting some really, really good trades here. So many scholars getting taken out. And sure, they cost less from the Dome of the Faith, but it's still something you don't want to be losing here. But they're actually tanking pretty effectively here. It's able to give Louis an opportunity to take out all of the spearmen and all of the archers here from Beasty. But it looks like Beasty is still at a huge, massive Keshiks, and Louis at the moment doesn't have any stables down or any sort of anti-cavalry here, but Town Center Fire and Archer Mass is going to be enough here for him. Beasty has to retreat back. Louis now needs to be careful. No, he does actually have textiles in. Textiles is through. We see archers here still able to do some decent damage. We have 4 ranged defense here on the Keshiks. So 6 damage for Louis, but -4. So it's only 2 damage a hit per archer. But Keshiks, they're not exactly a knight. They don't have as much HP. It's still a decent amount. 145 is still a lot, but it's nowhere near a knight. But still pretty effective. And Beasty, you know, he's taken some good damage there onto Louis. We see a couple blacksmiths getting taken down, a house and a barrack, sorry. Which, you know, it's great for Beasty. He got a ton of bounty from that. He's going to be able to get even more here. And behind this, he is aging up. Louis really he has to make a village advantage here. He's gone for 2 TC. He needs to find value from it. But he's fighting that hard. Look at what Beasty is doing right now. He's found a huge raid over here. Beasty, so far this game, he's picked off 3 villagers. And it looks like he's done a ton of idle time here. 13 villagers sit inside the TC. 15 villagers were idle earlier in the fight as well. So Beasty more than happy to take this fight. Now going to be focusing down that TC. Villagers jumping out of it as well. Instantly getting taken out. Louis still lacks the spears. He has no spears. He's found a nice little choke point here. So he's able to still take out this Keshik. But the problem for him now is that Beasty, he's up to the next stage. Sure, his army has been taken out, but the amount of damage that he's found with it, you know, 7 villager kills is absolutely huge. You're pretty much even now when it comes to Louis' army, and he's an age behind. So, you know, Louis definitely not out of this. He's on 2 TC. He's going to be able to recover. His army value is up by a huge amount. But he needs to try and get himself up to the castle age, try and match Beasty, and then try and keep as many vills alive as possible here on 2 TC. As we see Beasty, you know, he's up to the next stage. He's going to be starting to grab in some of those relics. That's where he's going to be able to find this villager difference. You know, he's going to be able to get his lead with those relics, with those sacred sites. And he's on the step route out here, so getting himself a lot of gold. And he's also grabbing some Keshiks. And it seems like, did he grab the veterancy upgrade? He did indeed grab the veterancy upgrade. So it looks like now he's looking to just go into mass age 3 Keshiks. And these things are pretty good as well. Like, obviously they're just a better age 2 Keshik, right? But they're really, really good. I think the higher up you go in ages, the better they get because of the more health they get, right? And the more health they are, the more tanky they are, which means, you know, they have more of a life steal. You know, the more damage they're able to do and the tankier they are, the more life they're going to be able to steal from the opponent, if that makes any sense. Because, well, if you keep it longer for long enough, it's able to bring back a lot of its health. But Louis looking to put on some pressure now, just looking to stick it out here in the feudal age. He's going to be finding it a little bit hard though. I don't think he's going to be able to find too much value here. Didn't get in too many of his blacksmith upgrades. The last 2, unfortunately, didn't come through as they did get taken out on the front line here. And, you know, Louis, he's looking to just mass up here, but Beasty, he's making a lot of archers, which haven't got the veterancy upgrade through, but that is on the way. So Beasty, it's just a matter of time for him. If he can get through enough of a mass of Keshiks and enough archers, you know, he's able to just wipe this. Now we see the attack speed arrow comes through. And Beasty, look at this. These Keshiks just able to tank so much damage here. Beasty doesn't have the veterancy upgrade through quite yet, but still a trade he can take, right? Khan needs to be careful not to go down. Beasty will have to fall back for the time being. Just needs to wait a little bit longer for those archers to come through. He's on double stable right now, so the Keshik numbers are really starting to build. Relics also being picked up behind this. Look at this. Beasty has 4 relics coming back home right now. One of them already in the bank. So Beasty, he's got plenty of gold in the bank, plenty of stone. So maybe even at this point in time, you could think about rushing up some towers at the TC here. I'd like to just grab some Springwood emplacements. Just to try and hold this back, right? That's all you got to do is find time. Because Louis, you know, he's sure he's getting villagers behind this, but you are still an age ahead. Louis is looking to try and meet that age up, but, you know, he's got a forward army right now. He needs to be super careful not to lose out on this army. Veterancy upgrades are now through on the archers. West River's also coming through here for Beasty. And once that comes through, these archers, I don't see much of a way they're able to stay in this. And now Beasty taking this fight here. Keshik versus Spearman, a fight that probably isn't the best for him. But, you know, he's still got a great lead right now. The relics making up the difference in eco. Beasty's floating a lot of gold right now. Louis might actually be able to do some decent damage here if he can possibly find some villagers. Beasty, he's struggling a little bit on the food. But we just see here the Keshiks. They're able to take out all of those spears. Louis has more reinforcements coming through, but Shaman's also getting pulled here. Able to heal up these archers. Archers need to focus down those spears. Beasty. He's done so much damage right here. Louis. It looks like he cancelled the age up. Well, it didn't cancel it. He never clicked it. But he was looking towards that age up. But instead just doubles down on units. I feel like that's a little bit of a mistake, because now Beasty, you know, he is more than happy to stay in the Castle Age up against the Feudal Age Delhi right here. And Louis not making any of the brand new unit. Louis is going to be taking this fight. You see, still able to take some good damage here. Keshiks aren't exactly as tanky as a Lancer, so don't be mistaken here. But, you know, Keshik's still an amazing unit. And with a few spears in here, Louis is going to be able to take these out. But Beasty, it looks like he's just got the mass. We got Shamans in here. More and more reinforcements coming through from him. Louis, he's finding it hard now. It looks like he's going to get pushed back. And Louis, what does he have at home? He doesn't have through the age up. He doesn't have through the compound of the defender. Maybe if the compound of the defender was through and we're to keep coming up on the front line here, things will be different. But Beasty, he's up to 4 relics. He's now picking up Sacred Sites. Louis, this game, you know, he's had this Sacred Site for about 30 seconds, right? He hasn't had that gold trickling in this game, because Beasty, he's just been putting the pressure on the whole game with these Keshiks. And Louis, to try and, you know, counter that, he went for a second TC. So that was his economic advantage instead of the Sacred Sites. But, you know, Beasty's just done such a good job this game, keeping him in the base. And it's allowed him to age up behind this. He's now getting up some outposts, which I'm sure will have plenty of sproggled emplacements coming through, as we see 800 stone is saved up in the bank. Beasty looking in a great spot right now. Louis, you know, he's still massing up back here. Not even looking towards the Castle Age. He's got plenty of gold in the bank, but he's really struggling on the food, and he's having to make that farm transition now, which is probably the worst time to have to farm transition, as Beasty, he's taking all of the food from Louis. So really, really sneaky right there. You know, this food could have been the lifesaver for Louis if he could have got through the age up. But now Louis looking to move forward here. That outpost will not get up. Okay, 15 HP away, but plenty of spears here for Louis. But archers through with +2 ranged attack and +2 ranged defense. And now we've got the sproggled emplacement coming through. Beasty happy to dive up onto this army. Honestly, I think you're fine losing the Keshiks here. They're just here to tank, because your archers are going to be doing enough behind this where they can just take out the rest of the army here. The +2 ranged attack, +2 ranged defense is more than enough, as well as the sproggled emplacement coming through, you know, pushing back Louis. I don't see much of a way back into this for Louis. We see he's going for that age up now, but he's just throwing away so much army. I see this being extremely difficult for him. He needs to try and get that age up through, try and drop a keep on the front line, try and build that economic lead, which he's got a slight one, but it doesn't make up for the 3 Sacred Sites and 4 relics in the bank here for Beasty, as well as the step redoubt that he's got out on the field. Beasty's just massacring the army right here. Scholars also going to be going down. Beasty, he's now through to the eco. Louis has no more wood left in the back of the base. It's all on the front here, and Beasty, he's going to be more than happy to guard this wood line. Louis has no other wood line. We see he's got, I guess he's got this one, but that's really not that much. And Louis now, he's doubling down once again here in the Feudal Age. He's dropping down that stable. I assume it's going to be for some Ghazi raiders. I mean, this is really what he needs. This is the unit that Louis needs to deal with this. It deals with everything here. It deals with the Shamans. It deals with the Keshiks. It deals with the archers. It deals with everything. It's really what he needs. But we see he's got enough resources once again in the bank to be able to age up. Louis just going to be guarding this wood line. We see here the archers just do barely any damage onto that Keshik. But Beasty, he's got the Sacred Site timer slowly ticking away behind this. We see outposts up on all 3 of them. Beasty, if he doesn't win here with the ram push here, he's going to win with a Sacred Site victory. At least that's the way it's looking right now. But we'll have to see if Ghazi raiders can look to save the day here for Louis. He's going to need a mass of them, though. We see the mass here for Beasty. Just so damn big. Battering ram starting to take out some of the production. Going to be providing Beasty some bounty. The archer mass is just so huge. Louis finally got through some of the other blacksmith upgrades. But Beasty, he's maxed out completely in age 3 here. And I think he's just going to be able to wipe out everything here. And GG gets called from Louis. Beasty going to be taking the win here. Beasty with his Keshik play. Absolutely incredible stuff. If you did enjoy this casted game, please do feel free to leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.